Hey, and welcome to the show. This show is brought to you by Patreon members like you.
Thank you for being a Patreon member.
As a Patreon member, you get a video of the podcast that we put out twice a month.
Now, on with the show.
Oh, yeah. Always. Alright.
Hit it.
Hit it? Huh. Oh, gosh. Oh, boy. Another fun day. There we go. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the show. How you doing, Fernando?
I'm tired.
How was your weekend?
That was good.
What'd you do?
Went to my sister-in-law's house. Kids got in the pool and just have fun. Yeah,
That sounds like fun.
that was one day off.
One day off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always is.
What do you do?
Jeff Smith and I went to a music show, I guess, a parking lot.
Car show? It's not a car show?
Well, car stereo show.
Okay.
So USAC or ISAC or I don't know, somebody's SAC
Ooh, a sound quality.
show. We took
Okay.
Haley's car, so on the way over we preserved our ears, and then on the way back we just let the hammer drop, and we
Okay.
beat the crap out of that and had a blast. So yeah.
So, then when I put my car in reverse, the backup camera isn't coming on all the time.
All the time, huh?
Any suggestions?
Well, I mean, if it's not coming on all the time, you'd have to, all right, so obviously we have a couple videos out labeled how to hook up a backup camera.
Definitely.
There's three things a backup camera needs: power and ground, or should I say accessory and ground, reverse trigger, and an RCA plugged into the back of the radio. Now the reverse trigger is for the back of the radio. If you're using your reverse light to power up your camera, then I would start there, in the sense that your backup the reverse light might not have enough power to power up the backup camera and also trigger the radio. Some cars do, some cars don't. That's why we always run our own accessory wire and our own ground. Now, if you've done all that, then what you want to check is the connections where the cameras come together in the back, because sometimes those can get wet and get corroded. We've seen that before.
Right.
That's why we use dielectric crap and put it in there, and a whole bunch of heat shrink and all that fun stuff, because those are problems you can run into. As far as the question on the 2019 there's really nothing to be made yet, so we don't have any access to parts to make those products yet. All I can tell you is that they are coming from PAC. We have prototypes on them, but right now I don't have anything other than a prototype to make that harness. Once the harness does become available, then obviously we'll talk about it, but until then, there's really nothing I can do, and they're just going to milk you out of that $200 for that silly harness for right now.
All right, somebody has a question. 2018 Toyota Tacoma, front camera. Isn't there a kit out there?
I don't know.
Like to replace the radio? Yes.
Pack-radio.com.
Yeah.
Metroonline.com.
This one is not locked. That one.
Mine is, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Best kits.
No, it's
Well,
Pack.
Pack-radio.com.
Pack-radio.
Yeah.
It's best kits. Come on, man.
What's up, Luis?
Hold on, let me go back to this. What did it say? The camera is OEM. You guys didn't rework on the radio. Okay, I don't know what that means. If the camera is an OEM camera, then you'd want to make sure that the power supply you're using is proper. Most factory cameras use a 6-volt power supply. If you're powering it with 12 volts, there again, it's those three things, regardless of whether it's OEM or aftermarket, are the same three things. So it has to do with what's powering the camera, what's the connection, what's the trigger, and what's the video input. That's it. So, I mean, if it's a factory camera and it's not turning on, you still run into the same problem. Does it have the proper power it needs? You know? What's up, man?
What's up, Julio?
Hey,
what's up, Ada?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Two things I want to mention before we get too deep into this. Stay tuned this week for the Nakamichi DSP review. That's going to be going out. We'll be filming that later this week. And then also, we talked about this last week. This is the new Evo X 1200.4 4-ohm version. They also make a 2-ohm version. The question was, why do they make two versions of the amplifier? And it has to do when you're connecting the amplifier mono. So if you're going to be bridging it to a 2-channel amplifier, if you want the ohm load, if the ohm load is going to be 2 ohms, then you're going to, so basically 2 times whatever at power is going to be 2 ohm, then you want the 2 ohm version of the amplifier. If the combined bridge power is going to be a 4 ohm load, then you'd want the 4 ohm amplifier. They just make two versions of it depending on how you're going to be running it. They found that works the best for them. But yeah, so this is the 4 ohm version. They also make a 2 ohm version, so depending on how you're going to do it. All right.
What's up, Brandon Green?
Hey guys.
What's up? Hey guys, question. How long it takes to break in the subs?
It depends
Yesterday was smelling.
Yeah, it
funky.
depends on how long you're beating the crap out of it. I mean, I can tell you right now, we've been playing those L7Rs for, I don't know. I mean, reality is probably only like 2 hours maybe, because they still stink every time I turn them on. So, I mean, it could take, and we're beating the crap out of them. I mean,
yeah.
we're smacking that. There's only one volume we're playing it at, and that's all the way up. So yesterday when Jeff Smith and I came back, all we did was play it all the way up the whole way home. So, you know, it takes time.
Isn't that what it is for?
I think I see a RAM. Yeah, this is one of those little SUV little work RAM things. We're putting some Morel speakers in it and some stuff. Hey, Tommy. There it is, your Evo X. We were just talking about the 4 ohm versus 2 ohm thing. So yeah. Hopefully I won't knock these two down. I'm not too successful with that, but yeah, I'll try to keep my eyes on it. Anyways, right. You got a question?
Yep,
go ahead.
Opinion on the larger tweeter and two-way setup, like Morel, Hertz. How much can help having tweeter crossover around like 2K?
Well, it just depends. I mean, the lower the tweeter will play, the lower the tweeter will play, the more sound you get out of it. It just depends on what you're going for. I mean, if, you know, that's less frequencies that the mid-range has to play up to. There's, you know, all I could say is that when we put in these, like, giant tweeters and they can do some amazing, it just sounds better. You know, it's really, that's all it is.
All right, can you guys tell me if that's possible to set amplifier gains without the distortion detector? Thanks for all the videos. Yeah,
so there's, obviously you can use an oscilloscope, which is, you know, a distortion detector is more or less just a test light style oscilloscope to where the light comes on to tell you that it's distorting. But yes, you can use an oscilloscope that you can buy an oscilloscope online for $35–40 bucks now. They're pretty reasonable. If you don't want to do that, then you can figure out you can do the math. So you can use Ohm's law to calculate out how much power the amplifier is supposed to be putting out. So if it's 75/4, you do the math, you figure out what the output voltage is supposed to be at 75 watts at, you know, the current voltage you're going to be running it at, and you set the gains accordingly. But that's it. I mean, you're not going to be maxing out the gains like doing like -5 dB gain overlap or any of that stuff. All you're going to be doing is matching, you're going to be voltage matching the amplifier. If you want to know more about voltage matching, check out the video we did on the Lumi. It's a digital multimeter, in which case we showed you how to use the Lumi to do it both ways.
All right, so Robert says, hi, I'm doing a 2011 Silverado. The stock speakers pop green in the front, red in the rears. Should I reverse the wires so the rears pop green?
Yes. Yeah, those should all pop green. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're both the same size. Like if you have a 6.5 up front and a 6.5 in the rear, unless the rear is really way back there and there's some form of a phasing issue happening between there, and which we know there's not, then yes, you want all the mid bass to pop green.
What's up, Dean? Thanks for all the help with my friends. Rockford amplifiers.
Okay, you're welcome.
Alright, 2020 Ram 1500. Thinking about getting Focal 3-way set components in the front, 2 6.5 components in the back, Focal PS for both, pair of 8-channel amplifier JL Audio XD800 and the HD1200 for subs. Do I need another battery?
If it's a 2020 Ram, probably not. 2020 Ram uses some power shift technology stuff. It's not as easy. I would just leave it alone for right now. Those amplifiers are yeah, you'll be fine.
Very efficient.
Yeah. I mean, I would just see how it plays
out. What's up, Victor?
I mean, the last Ram we did, we put all that stuff in, and he didn't have any issues.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
All right. If you had to do a system of only one brand,
from head unit to speakers, what would you buy? Kenwood.
Yeah.
It'd be a Kenwood Exelon system. That's not
easy.
even a tough one. And let me explain why. So we'll take a moment. So the Exelon line, they make the best radios as far as I'm concerned. So that's going to narrow down the focus as far as what radio I'm going to choose. And so that means backing out. So they also make some, you know, we've talked about the Exelon speakers before. I really like those. They make a couple nice Exelon amplifiers that I dig. The only hard part I would have is the subwoofer. I've never been really sold on their subwoofers. They're not bad. They're good. There's just, you know, and I've run them. I ran them for 8 years in my Dodge Ram. When I had my Dodge Ram, I had 4, then I had 2 10s. So I ran them for a really long time. I just know there's better subs out there, and so that would always drive me crazy.
All right, this one is well, never mind. Right here. Hey guys, on my Power Rockford passive crossovers, the capacitors came
out. Came off. Ooh, yeah, they came off the circuit board. That's bad.
Man, I can.
Came off. What would be? Jesus.
I know.
What would be, okay, crossovers came off, all right, hold on, the capacitor came off.
I can't find
this
it
is so
either.
bad.
It's a lot of questions.
Oh my God. I'm trying to get to the end.
And I can't.
What would be,
wow.
God, I can't even get to it.
It's a lot of questions.
It's just like every
and
time.
They keep
yeah, it keeps recycling.
So if you can type it again, that would be cool, man.
I mean, it sounds like the capacitors fell off the circuit board, which is bad. Which means he's running too much. He's clipping the hell out of them. You're just running too much distortion into them. They're heating up and popping off. That's a bad thing. You guys did a build on a new Honda Accord, right? How long did it take? Yeah, we've done several. One took 3 days, one took 2 days. Just depends what we're doing. Hey, Dino Fernando. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, man. Hey, Clint.
Happy Monday for us. Wire porn bad. Wire porn is not bad, Chris. How's it going?
Wire porn.
ST, you recommend 2 JL amps for 9 channels and a BitNova. Can I go with the Bit 1 HD instead? You can. I don't think you're going to benefit from it like what we were talking about. I don't really. There's nothing more to be had. You're just getting more channels. For what we were designing, I think you'll be okay there. I mean, we don't need any more. We don't need any more channels. But yeah, if you wanted to, I'm not going to talk you out of spending money.
All right, I think I find this right here.
What would I be losing if I did not fix capacitor on the 2 that run off of no access? It depends what the capacitor is for. So most speakers need a cap and a coil, or a cap and a capacitor. I'm sorry. a capacitor and a coil to create a 12 dB crossover network. Now those have on-axis, off-axis. They also have attenuation for the tweeter. So it depends on what capacitor burnt off the board. My guess is it's the one that it needs in order to give you the proper crossover point, because one that isn't being used isn't going to just burn off the board unless it just broke off the board and didn't actually heat up and pop off the board. So if it was a capacitor that was being used by the speaker, it's going to change the crossover point, which could damage the speaker. If it was a capacitor that you're just screwing around inside and you popped it off and it's not actually being functional, then it's not going to do anything. Personally, me, I would fix it, but that's just me.
All right.
The crossover wouldn't work.
Taylor say my pack light.
Go active, solve the problem. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my LOC, it doesn't turn off.
Okay.
What can I do?
Well,
I mean, some of these cars, they take a lot
to
turn it off.
LOCs are high-level, low-level adapters, use DC offset in order to turn on. Your car has to turn off the DC offset at some point, otherwise the battery go bad or go dead. What I recommend doing is taking a digital multimeter, setting it to DC, connecting one lead of the black lead to ground it to somewhere in the car, and then take the positive lead and connect it to one of the speaker outputs. Put the digital multimeter somewhere where you can see it when the doors are closed. You can have the windows down, it doesn't matter. Shut the doors, arm the car, and look at the digital multimeter, and have your little watch handy and see how long it takes for it to go to sleep. It's going to go to sleep. If it doesn't, then yeah, you've got something wrong or you've got a bad LOC. Once it goes to sleep, grab the door handle. It's going to wake back up immediately, and it's going to stay on until either you shut the doors or the car decides that you're not going to do anything and go to sleep. A lot of people will shut the trunk or whatever it is they're doing, and then they'll open it and it'll turn back on, and they're like, oh, it never shut off. I mean, if it never shut off, then your battery would be dead the first night. There again, it may have happened. If that's the case, you need a new LOC.
Alright.
The other thing too is depending on the radio you have, if it's just giving you a crappy signal and the DC offset isn't working properly, then you can check out a TR4. No, then you can check out Ignition 3, ING3 from PAC. And what that'll do is that'll hook up to constant 12 volts and ground, and it'll sense when the alternator kicks on, and it'll generate a turn on from that. That can be hooked up at the OBD2. I believe we have a video that shows you all three methods that there are available to you. Yeah, so just Google like Ignition, or go in the playlist and Google Ignition 3 or TR4, because we show them both at the same time and how they both work.
So he said it will turn off sometimes.
Yeah, and then it'll magically wake up and then turn off,
makes
and then yeah,
a humming noise.
Well, that's
really loud.
That's because you're getting a ground through the output of the radio. You get a ha. So DC offset probably isn't going to work for you then.
What's up, Kyle? Anthony.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't work out. So in that case, like I said, you can use the Ignition 3, which will only turn on the stereo when the motor is on, or you could try to find an accessory wire somewhere else. Because we run into that problem every now and then too. The car, the radio, and then it just sounds like the subwoofers are going to explode out of the back of the trunk. And so what you end up having to do is just go to a actual, what I said.
Alright, so what would be a good backup camera that has night vision and color and not fuzzy? Money is not an issue. I don't think they have
Yeah, PAC has some new high res. So go to echomaster.com and check out some of their new high res cameras that they have. They're pretty cool. Hey guys, get those amps soon. I want to try them for sure. Hey, are the Flax Evo 3-way components worth the extra $300 compared to the old Expert Flax 3-ways? That's a tough question. I mean, I'm going to hit these. I'm going to move them because they're going to end up on the floor. That's a really tough question because okay, when I was a kid, Coca-Cola decided that they were going to change the flavor of Coca-Cola, and they came out with this thing called New Coke, and it sucked. And then they came out with this thing called Coca-Cola Classic, so it was like this 6-month ordeal of just pure hell, where everyone was rebelling about how the Coca-Cola, and they came out with Coca-Cola Classic, which is now the current Coke, and I'm sure that they've changed it many times since then. However, it was this marketing thing that drove everyone crazy, and it gave them an excuse to relaunch the brand. Sometimes changing things are bad, sometimes changing things are good. If the speakers were the best speakers ever yesterday, and the new one came out today, and you were like, I want to have the newest, greatest thing, because they are the newest, greatest thing. They don't correlate with the Coca-Cola. I don't even know where that came from, other than I watched some Coca-Cola crap last night, so it's fresh on my brain. But anyways, is it worth the $300? That I don't know, because it just depends. Like, for me, I want to have the coolest, newest thing ever, so it's like, it's a tough one. I might probably spend the money. However, you know, like most guys will tell you that the old ones were phenomenal. So, you know, the problem is they keep naming them the same things. That's why they call them Evo now. Just like, you know, you change the name because it's not the same speaker. They could still make that speaker and people buy it at less money, no problem, because it's still a great speaker. But they don't. So, Coke sucked. It did. What? It was horrible.
What?
New Coke is terrible. New Coke was terrible. Coke did it for marketing. They did, and they just pissed everybody off. It was a spectacular thing. That's okay. Keep going. Okay. Happy Monday, blue or red pill.
All right, talk about the Evos. Hey guys, love the content. Looking at the Focal speakers, front rears, either the Flax 3-ways or the PS. What is the PS? 3-ways for the front doors and components for the rears.
I have no idea.
Matching it with the Audison Build 1, would you recommend spending the extra money and go with the Flax 3-way rather than the PS 3-ways?
I think the P ones are the new ones.
Okay, so
the
Flax 3-ways, the Evos.
I mean, you know, they're both great speakers. If you got the money, spend it. That's really what it comes down to. What's your pick for deadener? Trying to educate a consumer. I mean, we use Roadkill from Stinger. You know, when it comes down to when it comes to deadener, so Big D Wiz and Vega did a funny one. They talked about, you know, sound treatment, dampening, deadening crap. And it was because they, you know, over the years they bought a lot of cheap crap. We're fortunate in that we do this for a living, so we don't use cheap crap. We buy the good stuff because we don't want that crap to peel off. We're responsible for it. So if we put, you know, you're either using Dynamat, you're using SoundSkin. You know, for us it was Dynamat or Roadkill, and we went with Roadkill because it was just easier. But they have to buy the good stuff. If you buy the crappy stuff, it's just going to peel off. And you don't want it to peel off. Honestly, you know, the new stuff that we just put in his wife's car.
What's up, Marty Dean?
The Ground Zero stuff.
Ground Zero.
I want to bring that stuff in because I'm really excited with what they do.
Pretty cool.
They got some really nice. So you guys will see a video on that soon enough.
All right, should I use my DSR-1 and buy an LC6 1200, or sell my DSR-1 and buy the D6 1200?
I was reading another question. You probably have an answer for that, so go ahead.
I mean, no, but it depends. How many channels do you have in the car?
So is the DSR-1
compared to the audio control? I would definitely
upgrade to the audio control.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the 6 1200.
It's double the money. It's going to sound better.
It's gonna and more power.
I guess. I don't know. We'll go with that. So you just posted a picture of the Morel 5-channel amp in 3-channel mode on. So we had the Morel 5-channel and 3-channel on some Morel speakers. They were going to be Virtus. It was in a Toyota. It was either a 2-way set or a 3-way set, and yes, they sounded spectacular. That's one of the go-to systems we do in the Toyotas. Is that? Would you recommend the Kenwood Exelon XR600 DSP? The only time I recommend that amplifier is if you're going to use it for what it was made for, which is in an AR installation. So if you're doing something like a Dodge that has a premium sound system and you're going to be using the iData AR to connect to it, then yes, I totally recommend that amplifier to do that. It's kind of limited on what it can do. It is a 10-channel DSP. It has 2 channels of input only. Okay, so if you use it for something other than the AR type install, it has 2 channels, a left and a right input. You still have to buy an AR to generate the remote turn on, but that's it. It will only do 2 channels in, which for some people is not a big deal. However, if you want front and rear fader or anything like that, it is not the DSP to have.
Focal flags or
What's up,
Rockford 6.5 for the 2018 Ford F-150 Super Crew with the Alpine PDX 404 stock head unit. The DSP, that will be the 608. So
Okay.
the question is, flags or Rockford 6.5s?
Oh, flax.
Yes.
I mean, flax for sure. I mean, you're going to get the same. I mean, when you compare the flax to the Rockford, if those two are on the table, I'm going to take the flax because I know I can get a better sound out of the flax than I can out of the Rockford. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. I just, for my personal taste, I think the flax would sound better. You're both going to have a very loud tweeter. However, I think the flax is going to sound a lot better, for sure.
Yeah.
What's up, Michael?
Oh, you already answered that one.
Maybe. I need a nap. I wish I could find some old Audiobahn High Excursion, hands down my opinion, best sub that were made. Didn't you have one of those? You just had the amp.
What?
The Audiobahn amplifier.
Oh, yes, I had to.
Yeah, okay, so this is a funny one. Is it worth using the higher end Stinger cables like the 6.8 or the Stinger X for installation? First off, when you look at Stinger X, they're not better than the, so the X correlate with the, so an 8000 is an X3, the X2 is the 6, and then the X1 is the 4. The only difference is the ends. The ends on the X are gold, and the ends on the regular are just the silver stuff. Question was asked today earlier when we had a friend of ours in and we were talking with them about upgrading cables. And the question was always, he worked at a competitor of mine, and so we were talking about old times. And when his cars would come into our bay, we would always sit there and go like, dude, how come they're using these awesome cables? We can't sell anything other than the basic Stinger drone. And it really came down to the question at the counter would be, hey, can I hear the difference between X or Y cable? And then the guy that owned the shop at the time that was the salesman would be like, I mean, and my answer was always, yeah, of course. And the answer to it is, yes, they are a better cable. They're going to perform better. They're going to work better. They're going to sound better. You're going to get more signal through the cables, less signal loss. Yes, it's hands down a better cable and a better experience. But the argument I was like, he would always be like, you know, and I'm like, well, okay, we're not running 2 different types of RCAs in the car where the guy's going to A-B between the 2. We're only going to be running the good cable, so he's going to get in the car and he's going to assume that whatever he bought is what sounded the best. So, yes, buy the better cable. I mean, they're not that much more money. I mean, yeah, sure, they double, but it's a better cable. It's a bigger wire. You can, yes. But, at the end of the day, most people just settle. We run into the same problem here. Most people just settle for whatever the basic RCAs that come with the installation. We've settled on the basic RCAs only are the 4000, so anything we install gets a basic 4000. With the exception of one install we do, which is the Rockford P300 subwoofer. It doesn't matter, but you just get the cheap RCA on that one. But everything else gets at least a 4000. But trying to convince people to spend, it's like, have you used Audison song cables? I haven't used the high-end ones. There again, Paul only buys the black ones, and it's like at the last minute. I know, it's ridiculous. We don't always get the cool stuff, even though we try.
Yeah. Looking for a T-harness for Camry 2012 non-JBL system. Any part number, you can help me.
I don't know, what are we looking for?
2012 Toyota Camry.
Put a new radio in. I'd just put a new radio in it. I mean, T-Harness, it's a 1771, and it's a 7070. So it's a 1761. So 1761 is the last where you got a BHA, or a B and. So BHA, BHO, 1761. You need those, and you can make your own.
All right. 2011 Silverado, using a factory hit unit LC7i, 2-channel. For subs, is hooked up fine. I have a 4-channel for the doors. How do you guys get the signal from the door speakers and wire from the amplifier to the door speakers?
Is this a simple question if we use the T-harness when we pull out the radio?
Yeah.
We use the T-harness when we pull out the radio. A T-harness is a male and female factory. So this is a T-harness for a Dodge. So it happens to be the one we're running in this car here. So on this end is the end that the factory harness that we just unplugged from the radio goes into. This plugs into the back of the radio. On here are my speaker wires that are coming from the car. So if I run tones through these, they're the speakers in the car. And over here on this end are the speakers wires that are coming from the radio. This is a T-harness. This is what we use whenever we can. Now as far as T-harnesses go, iData now has a bunch of T-harnesses because they've made it easy to add in DSR1s to cars that don't necessarily have premium audio. They make one for Toyota, they make one for Honda. Back to the Toyota question, they probably make one. It'd be like an A or something like that, TOY. And then Metra makes a ton of them as well. They make T-harnesses that we use in most of our cars because they make the DSP that T-harnesses in, either high level, sometimes data, it doesn't matter. But yes, this is how the magic happens, is with this.
Somebody asked right here about, is there a way to upgrade the wireless CarPlay to the Kenwood?
No.
No. Just buy a new...
You'd have to buy the new radio. I know it's an 03, it's out of date, it's old.
But you have to buy
I know, it sucks, but yeah. You know, the radio's 3 years. 19 Accord, what can I do? Oh, crap.
It's
ridiculous.
All right, 2019 Accord. What can I do to improve audio frequency range, especially low and fidelity?
Obviously, some form of a DSP EQ is going to be required in order to do that. The car has a natural bass roll-off built into it, meaning it's already EQ'd from the factory, especially if you just have the boring non-whatever in there. I don't know what you're using for a high-level to low-level adapter, but as we said in the past, you need some form of an EQ so you can do de-equalization and re-equalization. That's the only way to fix it. If you're just trying to get a better sub sound, you can go with an LC2i that has AccuBass built into it, and that'll allow you to roll back in the bass that is missing. Things like the Kicker Key, both the 200.4 and the 500.1, fix all these things magically for you. A product that's just starting to ship, I think, this week is the new Key Lock, which is this guy right here. We've done a couple videos on the Key Lock recently. This is going to be, we've done a couple on the Kicker Key. The Key Lock, we've had 2 videos up because this guy has de-equalization built into it. It's the only high-level to low-level adapter with de-equalization built into it. If you want to see how this works, definitely check out the 2 videos we have on the Key Lock. It has a built-in RTA to tell you if you're connecting to the wires properly, meaning if you're going to add a sub, if there's actually sub signal on that wire, it will tell you that. And then also it will go in and flatten the signal out. It's pretty magical how it works. Like I said, we have 2 videos showing you how to do that right now. And this is like 149 bucks, I think, and it's going to be available by the end of this week. I think that you'll start to see that roll into places if you're not looking to do a DSP.
All right, let's keep with the Hondas. What is the best way to add a radio to 2013 Accord Sport without the premium sound system? and still retaining the top screen. It's not that big.
Yeah, so what I like to do is buy the Scosche kit. So Scosche makes a beautiful kit. Then you take that radio out of the dash, your factory one, and you remove the whole front panel from it. The whole front panel, so that we end up with just this silver box like this, and that's it. You take that silver box and you put it in the glove box. Now, there's two harnesses on the back of the radio. One of them is the power harness for the radio. So you need to either make a T-harness or extend over the constant 12 volts, the accessory, the ground, and the illumination. Wires need to go into that, as well as there's a second plug, which is the data plug that comes out of the factory radio and goes up to the overhead. That one needs to be cut and also extended over into the glove box. The reason why we go into the glove box is because, one, it'll fit, and two, there's two buttons there you have to have access to. The two buttons you press when you're like setting your clock and stuff like that, those will still function so that you can go in and set your clock. One is on the top left, and I'm sorry, top right, and one's on the bottom left, I believe. I don't remember. I just take a Sharpie and put an arrow to them so I know where they're at in case I forget. But that's it. And then you make a bracket to hold that in place. The glove box will still open and close, and everything will be wonderful. Now what you do is you take your new radio, and you can get a steering wheel control like a PAC CP2 works, where you extended the wires for your constant 12 volt accessory, ground, and illumination. You can tee those off to come into your new harness that's going to go into your back of your radio. There's, you know, the Honda harness is actually, you can buy a BHO or a BHA, or you can get the products T-harness from actually iData has one. But you can also, the T-harness we always use in the Honda is from Access. You can get the metraonline.com, type it in, you can get their T-harness and you can use that, so you can make whatever you need to extend it. But yeah, that's it.
So Felix asked about how much power, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
How much power you can put to the flags, and Fro Jason right here, he replied back, so that's pretty cool. Thank you, Jason. I have a kicker key 180.4 in my 2015 Honda Civic sedan to run the tweeters, front doors, and rear deck. I want to put two subs, and I want to use the kicker key 500. Can I use one kicker key for both, or I need two kicker keys?
So the kicker key is a programmable DSP amplifier. So the kicker key does two things as far as how you can hook it up. You can use it to run the front stage, meaning you can have it run active on a mid-range and a tweeter, or mid-range and a tweeter 3.5. Okay, and it'll do that. And then there's dip switches on the side that you flick. Or you can run it as front, meaning you have passive crossovers between the tweeter and the mid-range, and it hooks up to the rear. So it's basically a front and rear style installation. If you use two kicker keys and you do one for the front, the rear is just going to be a basic 4-channel non-bridgeable amplifier. I mean, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to chill out and play the rear speakers. You can't use the DSP or the EQ or anything like that because it won't know how to set up properly. It just becomes a basic amplifier. As far as the 501 goes, the 501 is going to tap into the same two wires that you tap into, or set of wires that you tap into for the highs kicker, the 4-channel. We'll just call it the 4-channel. This car is actually getting a kicker key 404 and the 501. This radio has 2-channel output only because this only has 4 speakers in it, and they're both fronts. So we're using the kicker key to power the mid bass in the bottom of the door and the tweeter, and then at the amplifier, basically the white and the gray pair are connected together like this, and there's just 2 wires running up, and 2 pairs of, you know, speaker pairs running up into the dash, and that's it. That's all we need to do.
Bye, Bobby. Thank you for watching, buddy.
Hope that answered that question.
2019 Ram Classic OEM head unit, bass, 6 speakers using Access T-harness. Will Acubase on the LC7i benefit me, or should I skip it and just go high level? Acubase.
So, alright, so someone asked me to explain Acubase, and I guess this is kind of where we'll just start with what Acubase is. First off, the T-harness, the Access T-harness is cool. All right, what is AccuBase? Let's start there, and then we'll get back to that question. AccuBase is to correct a phenomenon called bass roll-off. Basically what happens is the manufacturers apply a low-end loudness filter to the sub-output of the radio. When you're listening to the volume at normal listening levels, the bass is nice and full and impactful. As you turn the volume up, it doesn't move up in parallel with the loudness of the stereo. So if this is the highs and this is the sub, they don't move up like this. What happens is the sub starts to do this. As this gets louder, this eventually rolls off. Hence the bass roll off, the term that they use. But it's a loudness. It's as the volume gets louder, the subwoofer rolls off to compensate for the fact that the volume is getting louder, but it can't handle the dynamics of being able to play in parallel with the mids and highs, because you'll end up blowing the woofer, or the amplifier doesn't have enough sack to power it. Whatever it is, it's called bass roll-off. Now when you tap into a factory system with AccuBase, the idea is to find out, listen and figure out where that deviation happens. Dial in the AccuBase first by turning it up and then rolling it back until you hear it come in. And then from that point forward, it's going to see that voltage and it's going to go, okay, this is where AccuBase. So what you'll have is your volume goes up, you'll hear a slight, and then it'll get loud again, and it'll keep going. That's why using things, so connecting high level has nothing to do with using AccuBase. If you go and use line level, meaning, so for example, like this piece here is made for a Dodge, and it is designed to plug in with an AR, so in this case a DSR-1. Plug this in, cycle the key through, and what it'll do is it'll reprogram the car to think it's the Alpine 8-inch screen in there, which the AR is totally compatible with. So what that'll do is that'll give me now a preamp output into my DSR-1, meaning it's a full frequency left and right input going into the DSR-1. I'm not going to have bass roll-off, I'm not going to have equalization, I'm not going to have anything because it's all gone. The only other thing you have to do is go up underneath the driver's seat, if it has it, or in the dash, and bypass the ANC module, which is the automatic noise canceling. They make a T-harness for that, which is the BCH3. PAC also makes one. And that will bypass that so that you don't have the fake sound every time you're in the car. That's how I address the 2019 Dodge Ram. Not all Dodges you can do that on, but that one you can. So that is, you know, we've said it a million times. As much as we love the LC7i, it is not the solution for every problem. Just because everyone's finally figured out that they should buy an LC7i. It's funny, they're finally buying high-end, high-level to low-level adapters, but they're not going any further. They're not figuring out that it's like there are better things that will get you to sound better. The whole reason why we're upgrading our sound systems is so we can make them sound better, but yet we're not doing the research, or we're settling on, I guess, there again, a cheaper solution, because like you look at this and you go, oh no, that's like $300, and it's like, yeah, but why do the upgrade if you're not going to make it sound the best way possible? The factory system sucks. That's why you're upgrading it, and you're going to just put a high-level to low-level adapter in it. It's not like you're going to change the tonality of what's coming out of that radio, which is a high-level to low-level adapter. So you're going to feed that into whatever speakers you have. So you're going to have that same EQ curve, just louder, going into these new speakers, and you're going to hope it sounds better.
All right.
Frustrating.
Trevor, I need to get audio tune for my Alpine PDX B9, my Stealth Box JL audio, my Paul components. Everything is a network mode from the Pioneer. How long do you need it?
So it's not as easy as it seems. So anytime you bring in something with network mode, or you bring in a DSP, or you bring in equalization, we literally have to go through everything in the system. It's about a 2 or 3 hour process, because we have to go in and we have to make sure that your gains are set properly, that everything is in polarity, and then we can start with the actual tuning part of it. As far as tuning goes, the only thing that network mode is going to give you is an active crossover. You're still only going to have a 13-band equalizer that is global for tuning, as it were. That doesn't give us the ability to go in there and do much, because You know, the nice thing is that we do have time alignment, so we can align the front so that the fact that this sound is going to sound totally different from this sound, we can't fix that with your EQ because it's only a 13-band global EQ. We can push it, make it sound a little better, but you know, if there's any big problems, the radio's not going to fix it. But yes, you can make it sound better. We've done it. It's fun. But yeah, it's going to take about 2 to 3 hours.
Just make an appointment.
Just make an appointment.
How many things can you power from the switch power wire? From the switch, I guess, the accessory wire. Radio, steering wheel controls, backup camera, how much is too much?
So anytime you, like for example, if it doesn't have an outboard relay on it, so like when you buy a PAC RP4 product, they all have outboard relays. I've also insisted on them in their instruction manuals that they have the output voltage there, or I'm sorry, the output amperage there. So the relay will tell you it's good for 10 amps. If it doesn't have that, they put a sticker on there that says 2 amps. PAC does that. Not everyone else does. If it's not labeled anywhere on there and you can't find it, assume it is low, meaning that it's enough to maybe turn on the radio and a steering wheel control interface, but not a backup camera. Backup cameras draw 3 to 7 amps of current, which is way too much for that little smart module to pass through. So you're going to need a relay. Steering wheel controls draw almost no amperage, so it's okay. Oh yeah, next Monday is a holiday. Way to go, Sue. Speaking of that, since you're all going to be off and you want something to do next Monday that is car audio related because you got a time slot to fill, I suggest heading over to Educar Training at Teachable.com. That's right, there's 2 courses up there right now. One of the 2 topics that we always talk about, one of them is DSP. It's $29 for the course. But they also have the basic in car audio, which it's a great class. I watched it the other day. It's an hour long. It's divided into 3 20-minute segments. This is the guy we learned from, so you get to sidestep us and go right to the guy that teaches us. $20 for the class. It's the best $20 you'll ever spend. I was talking to him today. Some of the guys have already spent the $20 and spent the $29 to get the DSP class because they were sold on it. Like, this is awesome. So Teachable or Educar Training at Teachable.com. Spend the $20. You will not regret it. Watch it over the weekend. Have a lot of fun. And then, of course, we still have the coupon code 5-star for audiocontrol.com. You can use this to get $100 off your DM-RTA Pro kit. That's the kit that comes with everything you need to test everything in the car.
Alright, so right here I got this one. I have a T-harness with an LC2I going into my 2019 Silverado. New body style with the Bose system. What is the best way to set it up?
What year is it?
2019 with Bose system.
She's an LC2I.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one because I'm going to tell you right now, if it's 2019 with Bose, that's a horrible system. That subwoofer is crap. The output for an LC2I is just ugh. A lot of people don't even use it. They just go off of the front speaker. But I mean, you've got it, you've used it, you hooked it up. As far as tuning goes, you know, it's a hot output, so you're not going to need a lot of gain on the LC2I. There again, you have to find out if it has bass roll-off or not. I would suggest if you're planning on doing more with the stereo, like if you're going to update it and add mids and highs and all that, head over to navtv.com and pick up their Zen audio piece for that. It is going to interface with the factory radio and give you a preamp section, and just like we've always talked about, and it'll allow you to add as many amplifiers as you want. You can get a Toslink output, go into a DSP. But if you're just cooking up a sub, tap off of the sub, rock on, have fun. Hey Bill, what's going on? You're late. It's okay. Is class for basic stuff or advanced enough for installers to watch? Listen, I watched this class the other night, and there's always a takeaway. I enjoyed it a lot. I got done watching it. I was like, oh man, that is cool. You know, the thing is no matter how much you know, there's always more to know. So if you're an installer, if you're an amateur, it doesn't matter. The basic class helps everyone no matter what level you're on. If it's anything, it reaffirms what you know, If you don't know, it will. And the nice thing is you own the class. So it's like if you didn't understand it the first time, you got to watch it again.
Oh, you
until
can
you
watch
understand
it anytime you want.
Yeah, you can watch it as much as you want. You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it on your laptop. You can watch it as many times as you want. It's a lot of fun.
Whatever you want.
20-minute deuce. You can watch one of the classes again.
Oh,
whatever works for you.
Yeah, why not? How long is the DMRTA Pro Special running using your 5-star promo code?
So I talked to Chris the other day, and I think we're gonna go this week. And if there's still interest in it, we might go another week. But yeah, so use the code, have some fun. What's the best way to improve my sound system in 2019 Accord? Looking for high fidelity audio. Watch our video on the Honda Accord.
Yeah.
I mean, the go-to system in the Honda Accord that we have been doing is we do Morels all the way around. We use a Kicker Q-Class 5-channel. We use the Access T harness. We unplug the ANC microphone. And it's freaking awesome. The Accord is actually, if it's the non-premium, is a dream to work on. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's fun. The hardest part is just mounting the stupid bass knob in the center console. Foam size used on door speakers. I mean, for foam, we use the
fast rings.
Fast rings from, from PAC or
from Stinger.
Stinger, whatever.
If that's too much, you just
cut You too, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jason.
How long have you two been working together now? 6 or 7 years?
6 years.
6 years?
7 years. It's gonna be 7 years.
I have no idea. Oh, I think he's talking about the thin stuff we use for foam used in door speakers. So
yes.
For that, head over to DNF Tool Drawer.
Okay.
On DNF Tool Drawers, I think in the installation accessories or something like that it's called, we have links out to that so you can get the sizes off of the links we have. But yes, that is in the tool drawer. The links are current. They're all functional. It's all good to go. I have a JL audio amp and LC2i. Bought the amp, bass knob, and it does nothing when plugged into the amp, but it cuts the bass in half when plugged in the LC2i. Turning the knob. Any clues why it's not working? Well, the bass knobs aren't universal, so you have to, if you're using an audio control bass knob, you have to make sure you have the right audio control bass knob. There are 2 or 3 different ones. If you use the wrong one, it won't do anything. If you have the JL bass knob, then it should work on the amplifier. The only time the bass knobs do silly things is if your gain is turned up too high, you may not notice the bass knob working. That is the only time we've ran into any issues there, and that is true on both. So if you turn your gain up too high, the knob doesn't work.
Hey, thank you, Gregory.
That's now working in New York.
That's cool. Be careful.
Perfect. What do we got? I'll take, we got time for, let's try to hit. I'm installing, what would you recommend for a stock upgrade in 2010 Silverado? Also having 200-watt kicker. If you're looking if it's the non-Bose in your 2019 Silverado, if you're looking for something simple to put in there, I would definitely recommend the kicker. I would definitely recommend the currently available Kenwood Exelons. They make the 6x9 with the 2.5 that go up into there, fits in. Super simple install, sounds phenomenal, will make that thing sound really good. If you're not a Kenwood fan, then you can also check out Focal makes a set. Morel makes a set. Morel you will need power for. The Focal will just work off of that. Non-Bose, yep. So add a kicker key, rock on, it'll sound wonderful. Do you guys have templates for 2015 Mazda 6 with an 8-inch door speaker? I might.
Yeah? Yeah.
I think we do.
Probably.
Yeah. But you don't need them. You can actually get them. It's that bag right there. You can get them from...
Best Kits?
No. Metro Online sells them. Go to metroonline.com. They make the adapter for the Mazdas now. So yeah, definitely check that out. I know you guys usually adapt 6.5 components in the front doors of the F-150s, but if I had to go with a 5x7 6x8 instead, what would you go with or recommend? If I have to go 5x7 6x8, I would recommend going with the Focal. Makes the 5x7 for that component. That's really nice and extremely affordable. Trying to think of who else makes one. I know Kicker has one coming out, but it's not shipping yet. But yeah, I would check out the Focal. Those are really nice. One other thing too that I wanted to mention before we wrap up the show tonight, we were talking about these on the 2 ohm 4 ohm thing, and we were also talking about how their power ratings, they're rated at 12.6 volts. I found out today the reason why they do that is because in Brazil the batteries that they have there are not up to the quality as they are here in the US. So they rate everything at 12.6 because it's easier and it's a more realistic thing for them there. Because importing batteries into Brazil is stupid expensive, so they rate their apps at 12.6, which makes sense.
All right, somebody asked, what was the sound deadener that you used on Fernando's wife's car?
We used the GZDM door kit from, lift it up.
From Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. There we go, perfect.
Oh, it's in the top, no?
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. It's on the side.
It's on the back.
It's a really nice kit, that is for sure.
Yeah.
It comes with everything. Like I said, we have a video that we're going to show you how we did it. It was a lot of fun. Focal RJL want to upgrade front and rear door speakers 2019 F250. It depends, man. I mean, we obviously sell Focal, so there we go. Importing anything into Brazil is expensive. Yes, it's ridiculous. From what our Tommy was telling me this morning when we were asking him about that. Yeah, they have really strict things. Have you tested the difference between a regular AGM battery and an Audiolab AGM? No, we haven't done any testing on any of the batteries.
It's like $65. So.
Definitely not done any of that. But sorry, I have a DM608, 2 mini MVX amplifiers, but the speaker amp is hot protecting. Ooh. Recommended kicker key or audio control. We already have a DM608, so there's no reason to go key.
No.
Just get into the audio control mini amp. But the first thing you want to find out is why is the amplifier getting hot? That's key. So there might be nothing wrong with the amplifier. There's a reason why it's getting hot. You have to figure that out. Amplifiers get hot for a couple reasons. One of them is impedance, meaning you have too many speakers on it, or the ohm load is too low, or you have enough speakers on it, but you went with, let's say, 2 ohm speakers and it doesn't like that. So check your speaker impedance, or there's maybe a small short somewhere, like a basket or whatnot. Sometimes you'll have a perfectly functioning speaker, and it's got a metal basket, and the voice coil ends up shorting out to the basket. We've had it happen. It sucks. But you want to check the impedance there. Secondly is your battery voltage. If your battery voltage is poor, then that'll cause the amplifier to heat up prematurely and shut down. A simple digital multimeter at the amplifier will tell you both of these things if you're having a problem. Lastly is ventilation, meaning you have them in an area that it's just not breathing properly. That one is a little bit, not as important now because these amplifiers will get hot and not cut off and work fine. Audison Voce 5.1 and Quattro or Prima,
Oof,
a Voce 5.1 and a Quattro. That's way more power. Way more power. Don't get me wrong, the AP.4 and the AD are wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's like you're here and then you're here. So if you got the money, get the Voce.
How is Haley's voltage holding up in the 2400?
So Jeff and I, of course, were flying up the road doing 65 miles an hour, and it was handling it just fine.
Yeah.
Parking lot, there's a couple songs that will play that it'll automatically just go stop, and it'll clip, and you know it. And it's just because the battery voltage is dying out.
Wait a minute.
But yeah, that's it. But no, it's actually, surprisingly, it's doing really well. Because, we'll play it in the parking lot for a good half hour. You guys have seen that. And I think the other night when we actually played it for like 20 minutes, and then I blew the fuse, and we came back, played it for another half hour.
Did you replace it already?
Yeah. I put it in on Saturday or Sunday morning before we left. It's doing well. I don't think it would be a long-term. I would definitely not do it long-term, for sure. But if you're going to buy that, then you definitely want to have a battery for the 2400 and that thing.
Yeah. All right, so this is going to be the last one.
I'm installing a JL Fix, which has signal sense turn on and the ability to send a remote out. Can you use that to daisy chain to turn on other equipment? Well, I need a relay. Yes, you can get it to do daisy chain. I would suggest adding a relay to it because I do not know off the top of my head what the output voltage is. If it has, in the owner's manual somewhere, it tells you the output voltage is like 10 amps. Depending on what you're trying to turn on. So if you're going to do something that, so a turn on versus something like a light that has a draw. Those are kind of the differences. A turn on meaning like Moeller amplifiers, it's like 300 milliamps. It's nothing. You could probably turn on 3 amplifiers successfully from that output without having an issue. Powering something up, on the other hand, is a totally different story. So like if you're gonna put like, come off of it and turn on a fan, turn on LED, RGB lighting, anything like that, where you're actually gonna try to use that remote turn on to turn something on physically, use a relay, because it's not designed to do that. It's only designed to flick a switch, which takes no effort and nothing else. All right, that's today. That's Monday. That's the show. We hope you guys enjoyed the show.
That's right.
I need a nap. Yeah, it was a long weekend. Sorry there wasn't a video this morning. I blame History Channel for screwing me up, and I just got roped into watching Food That Made America. If you guys ever get the opportunity to watch that show, I strongly recommend it. It's it's like 4 hours long. It's phenomenal. It tells the story of Coca-Cola. It tells the story of Hershey's. It tells Post cereal, which later General Mills. It's McDonald's. It's a phenomenal little thing. What was it? What's the other? Kellogg's. Tells the Kellogg story. It's phenomenal. You guys, if you get an opportunity to check it out, it's called The Food That Makes America on History Channel. I think it might be available for download now. I don't know. But that really kind of killed my Sunday. I started watching it and it was like, oh, this is so cool. I love documentaries. Yeah, you made it. You made it. But anyways, that's it for now. Definitely check us out tomorrow on Instagram for 5 Minutes with 5-Star. And DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can find all the cool tools that we use, such as the thin weather stripping that we use on our speakers. It's all there for you to be had. Patreon is a place you can go to support the show. You can still use the coupon code 5-Star to get $100 off your DMRTA Pro. I think we'll probably run that till the end of the week. And then Educar training at teachable.com. Check out that $20 hour-long class. It's money well spent. It'll make you smarter. Anything that'll make you smarter for 20 bucks is worth it, okay? I can't say that enough. And then, of course, head over to WireCare, where until the end of the month, if you spend, what, $50? I just got my... Grab the WireCare real quick. Sorry. Thank you. We just ordered a bunch of WireCare loom for our build. So we got a bunch of yellow and black to match our Ground Zero stuff, to match the box that we got from Frostbite. So I just ordered 50 feet of, and I got my free glasses. That's right. They were giving these away, so I got those. So
perfect.
I took advantage of the WireCare, and you should too. TechFlex all the way. And I just bought all 3 sizes. They had like 50-foot rolls, so it's like 50-foot rolls. I think, so I got a 50-foot roll of 1/4 inch, a 50-foot roll of 1/2 inch, and a 50-foot roll of 3/4. So all 3 sizes that we used, it was like $100. So, not bad.
Why not?
Why not? All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Frosted Flakes for life, baby. It's a really good show, I'm telling you. If you get an opportunity, watch it. Wish I could wire loom on my build. It's a pain. It's a pain, you know, doing the whole little...
You got used to it.
You get used to it. We're pretty fast. All right, guys, thank you. You have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye.